In this tutorial, we'll look at a few advanced drag and drop techniques that you can use in the margin area. Specifically, we'll see how to replace and move codes in the margin, create hyperlinks, and merge quotations. Before I start working with objects in the margin area, I'll click on my General Preferences hammer and take a look at my general settings. First, I'll check to see if advanced drag and drop is enabled, which it usually is in the default mode, and if I click over to the Margin tab, I'll make a couple of adjustments just to let you see some options for arranging your margin area. First, I'll make the bracket width a little larger for quotations, blend out objects that I don't really need right now, and then I'll click over to my fonts and choose a slightly larger font for the margin area. Then I'll hit Apply to accept these changes and OK to return to my primary document. Now let's begin with our first topic, replacing and moving codes. If I notice that I've mixed up some codes in the margin, it's easy to move them around and straighten out the situation. If we take a look at the picture that I've coded for demonstrational purposes, you'll see that I've confused a couple of codes on my sheep. To fix this, I can drag the code right ear, for example, up to left hoof and release it there. And as you can see, right ear has been unlinked from its original image quotation and completely replaces left hoof. If I do the same thing while holding down the Control key to perform the action, the code that I drag away will stay attached to its original quotation and replace the second code. Left hoof has been unlinked and replaced, but not completely removed from the project. If I open up my code manager, you can see that it's still there. It just hasn't been assigned to any quotations. I can also click on it and drag it from the code manager onto a quotation bracket in the margin, which lets you see that the margin area isn't only interactive as a closed unit, but it also interacts with different managers. And a further possibility is to copy and move a code. To add a coding to a quotation without replacing any codes, you can hold down the Control key, click on a code, and drag it directly onto the quotation bracket. Try opening up the code manager before and after performing these actions to cross-check what happens to your codes and their groundedness before and after making these changes. Creating hyperlinks between quotations, our second topic, can also easily be done using drag and drop. To hyperlink two neighboring quotations, select a first quotation as your starting point or anchor link, and drag its quotation bracket, release it onto the bracket of the target quotation. I'll drag the hoof onto the paint bucket. A list of hyperlink relations will open up, and you can also create a new relation by opening up the relation editor. For now, I'll simply pick one of the relations, and both ends of the hyperlink will then appear in the margin area. And the last drag and drop feature that we'll look at in this tutorial is merging quotations. You can merge two quotations with any amount of overlap to clean up the margin or to eliminate possible redundancies. I'll create a couple more quotations here for demonstration purposes, once again to look at merging. And then I'll start by dragging one quotation onto a second one. When you do this, you'll always receive a message asking you what you'd like to do. I'll start by choosing Yes to combine the outermost boundaries of both quotations to create one big quotation. Now I'll make another quote within a quote and merge the larger square into the smaller one, and choose No to only keep the boundaries of the smaller quotation or the merged target. Experiment with what happens when you merge quotations in different document types with different degrees of overlap. And when you try this, you'll see that all codes which were assigned to the two quotations are just transferred to the merged target. Hyperlinks, memos, and comments will also just go along for the ride, and the only thing that changes is the size of the text to which they are assigned. And this concludes our tutorial on advanced drag and drop features in the margin area. Thanks.